Took you long enough, Slowpoke. I've been helping myself to your pool for the last 30 minutes. I sincerely hope you have security cameras on your property because the lack of awareness you have to intruders is quite concerning. This may be a picturesque example of suburbia, but you never know what could happen. Yeah, I know that the gate was locked, but come on. Who doesn't know how to pick a lock these days? You can quite literally learn anything and everything online. Kind of concerning, sure, but very useful. Crazy? Me? Yeah, I think we established that when we first met. There aren't that many people who can tell PTA President Linda Barker how much of a stuck-up, trashy, judgmental weasel she is. Yeah, I honestly thought she was going to pop coronary after I said it. I swear, if her husband didn't come running out of the house at that moment, we probably would have started swinging at each other. Besides, if you talk to me like a normal person, instead of mustering up every ounce of restraint in you to not look at me every time my family invites you over for dinner, I wouldn't have to resort to such drastic measures. Oh, don't give me that look, Peeping Tom. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Oh, really? You really don't know what I'm talking about? Yeah, I don't believe you. Well, first of all, when you came over for dinner last week and my parents told you that I'll be away all summer for research, you looked like your dog died. You may have been able to hide it from my parents, but not from me. Did you forget that I was a teacher? An underlying yet very important part of my job was to catch emotions and feelings that are less than positive. It's fine. There's no reason to be embarrassed. I'm honestly quite flattered. It took me a little while to realize that I should be taking your cold shoulder as a compliment, rather than an insult. Oh yeah. When you first moved in, I thought you hated me. At first, I thought you were upset at me for climbing the apricot tree in your backyard. Not the best first impression, to be sure, but you can hardly blame me. Little Sarah across the street was beside herself when her precious little kitty, Dr. Meowington, got herself stuck after a tea party went wrong. If I didn't do my duty as the resident tree climber and rescued her down, who would? Oh, you thought it was heroic, did you? Well, I definitely would have been in a pinch if you didn't help me down. Dangling upside down from a tree for an extended period of time is not something I recommend. I don't think I ever thanked you for that. Oh, really? No thanks needed? Even when you're trying to hide from your bangs after I said it. God, you're far too fun to tease. My work? No, it's fine to ask. I don't know. You never asked me about my work before, so I was just a bit taken aback. Not many people here ask me, to be honest. Probably because they're a bit, disenchanted by the fact that a woman in her mid-20s living in this town is going out on dinosaur digs as opposed to settling down with a husband and 2.5 children, even though their children are far more enthusiastic about my job than they are. Yeah, dinosaur dig. I just got my visa sorted out, so I'll be leaving sometime next week. Yeah, every child's dream, but to be honest, it's gonna be quite boring for the most part. Cool, but boring. I went on one when I was still in undergrad, and one when I was doing my master's. I mean, there are benefits to having a cushy office job, don't get me wrong, but considering how, crazy I am, as you'd like to call it, I would have been driven to the brink of self-destruction if I had to sit in an office all day. Don't get me wrong, the vast majority of my job does include going through boring paperwork, but at least it's not about, like, investments or pie charts or whatever else corporate jobs entail. Mm-hmm. Well, and seeing as I will be swept off to the middle of nowhere for the next few weeks, I thought a good going away present that you can give me is by letting me use your pool. Yes, in the middle of the night. Swimming at night for some reason is really romantic to me, especially when the pool is outdoors. Being in the open air with the stars flickering and glimmering above you, the sound of the water flowing and splashing against the tiles, a warm, dim light emanating from the fairy lights hanging from the trees and veranda. It's all very soothing if you ask me. Well, I knew if I asked, you would have said no. Easier to ask for forgiveness rather than permission. Although the reason why you'd say no, well, that's for you to surmise. I'll miss you the most whilst I'm gone. Sure, we haven't spent too much time with one another since we first met, but that makes all the time that we do spend together all the more precious. The brief moments where you and I would drop all pretenses and talk about whatever's going on. The small glances we'd share whenever the people around us would say something wildly out of touch and archaic. We didn't have to be around each other for long for the both of us to know that there was a connection, a mutual understanding that we deserve more than what this town has to offer us. Yeah, I know. This is just a temporary situation for you. I mean this in the best way possible, but you don't belong here. You deserve more. More than what societal expectations want from you, more than what that couple next door thinks of you. More than anything anyone here can give you. Please, I think we're familiar enough for you to call me Esme. After all, I am in your pool, barely dressed. Pardon me for being selfish, but I hope you'll miss me too. Sure, I'll be off on another adventure in the great wide somewhere, but that doesn't mean you can't miss me. Yeah, a little on the nose there, huh? But it feels that way sometimes. Not with you, though. Never with you. Out of everyone here, I think you're the one who understands me the most. You weren't raised here with the expectation to be married by 25 and raising children by the time you're 30. You've seen things, been to places. You know how ornery one can get when they're trapped by their set of circumstances. How hard one will work just to get out of it. Maybe I'm a bit too old for such fantasies, but that doesn't mean I won't try my hardest to make them a reality. Well, I'm glad to have your support. You are quite literally the only one I could depend on for it. Well, I think I should have one more lap around the pool before I head home for the evening. Yes, I should. But before I do, let's make things a tad bit more interesting, shall we?